Hello and welcome to the final episode of 1000 Ways to Die in Drangleic. Today I will be telling you the story of how I beat Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin with the old Sun Ring only. And if you don't know about the old Sun Ring, well, simply put, it's a ring you equip, which has a chance to explode whenever you take enough damage within a certain time frame. But the key word is chance, it doesn't always proc. And that's the only thing I'm allowed to deal damage with. But without further ado, let's go back to the beginning. This journey begins with me creating a hot character with the greatest character creator ever bestowed upon mankind. Seriously, I have never seen a single person make an ugly character in Dark Souls 2. Anyway, off to Majula. Majula is such a beautiful place. I wish this video just were about me sitting here and talk about Majula and everything I like about it, but unfortunately it is not. I have a soul-crushing journey ahead of me. So to that end, let's kick this thing off the only way I know how. What I did when I got here first, I activated the bonfire, then I talked to the most wonderful firekeeper of them all. No, you cannot convince me otherwise. But I grabbed all the items in Majula. From here on out, I headed straight through the Forest of the Fallen Giants and grabbed the bonfire at the Cardinal Tower. After that, I returned to Majula to go through Hyde's Tower of Flame. And here I just let the Dragon Rider take care of himself. Control set, what the f- After dealing with the Dragon Rider, I ran straight towards No Man's Wharf, and on the way I picked up the Sublime Bone Dust. And after I had lighted the bonfire at No Man's Wharf, I returned to the Cardinal Tower, where I cast in all the souls I got from the Dragon Rider on a single fragrant branch of yore. I also linked Magnified to my healing material. I also burnt the Sublime Bone Dust in the bonfire in Majula. After that, I headed straight towards the Shaded Woods. And here in the Shaded Woods is where I found the old Sun Ring, along with a lot of other very useful items as well as a lot of souls. And the cherry on top, I went back to No Man's Wharf to pick up the fragrant branch of yore. Then I returned to the Shaded Woods, where I cast it in to get the repair spell. Are you f***ing serious? And right after looting more or less everything in the Shaded Woods, I got my first real scare of this journey. What you just saw was some of the last footage I have of this character, at least for this part of the video. Because I ran out of storage space without even knowing it. And I hadn't created a backup yet because I thought it was too early in the game to do so. Cause I'm a fucking idiot! Then I had to create another character just so I could do everything from scratch. But for you, my dear viewer, I made a new character and redid everything up until this point, because much like a condom, my videos are ripped for your pleasure. So in order for me to tell the rest of my story properly, I did what any other normal human being would do. I went out and bought myself a PS5. Don't look at me like that, it makes me so uncomfortable! Ugh! But instead of me sitting here and complain, why don't we just skip ahead to the very first boss fight? Dragon Rider doesn't count.
We have to set the stage. First, the music!
Like I said in the beginning of the video, in order for me to deal damage, I have to take damage. So here is what I did with the last giant. I started by stripping completely down, which is very hot, and then I just made sure to get hit, not in a way that would knock me back, but in a way that would just slam me against the ground, so I wouldn't get knocked too far away from the last giant. I also had to open the equipment menu to keep an eye on the durability for the old Sun Ring. And I also think that I might have used the repair powder too much, but better safe than sorry, I guess.
Brother, what's that?
Tifa, my girl, do you mind helping me out on this one?
Thanks Tifa, that was just what I needed.
And thus, the last giant and the Flexile sentry has been defeated, and with that I'm setting sail for my next goal, which is a much needed vacation at Costa del Sol.
To every living being and every living soul, I, Rani the Witch, swear to bring this exile back to Drangleic, so that she may fulfill her duty.
Wait a second, is this really Costa del Sol? Nice. That 12-second boat ride towards my vacation destination was just what I needed. Great. My goal is to reach 1 million souls, and I figured why not start here in the Lost Bastille with the very first Lord Soul, the Lost Sinner. After landing the final hit on the Lost Sinner, I was so happy, relieved and excited, because this was the moment that made me realize that this playthrough had so much more potential than I initially thought. So I sought out other bosses, and here I'm dealing with the Skeleton Lords. I figured they were worth giving a shot after the Lost Sinner, since, sorry to interrupt myself, but this felt kind of good. I still need to reach 1 million souls. The path to them is straightforward, and they are weak to fire. And the most ironic part about this fight is the final skeleton was the one I had the most issues with. He had such a hard time hitting me, and when he finally did, the old sun ring wouldn't proc. So this took some time. But after finally landing the final hit, I ran straight through the first part of Earthen Peak, then I took a quick detour through the gutter to pick up Havel's armor. Believe it or not, but the Covetous Demon was actually up until this point the boss that had given me the most problems. Because he made great use of Body Slam, and when that happened, he kept sending me away from him. So when the old Sun Ring finally procced, I wasn't able to hit him. And another thing is that he had a tendency to eat me. And when that happened, all of my gear would become unequipped, so I had to re-equip everything. And at one point, he actually ate me, and just as I was about to have my stuff re-equipped, he ate me again. And I was so close to quitting out. But I am so glad I didn't. Psych!
God damn.
Defeating Mytha like this was so weird, because usually when you defeat a boss during a challenge run, you're like celebratory, right? Like, yes, I did it, this is so amazing, I fucking did it, I can't believe it. But in this case, I was just more like, what? I did not think it would be possible to pull this off, but fortunately I was wrong. And after this, I got a bit cocky, because I thought to myself, how difficult can it really be to run through Iron Keep without any weapons or shields? Oh, I would live to regret those words. You just wait and see. But regardless of Iron Keep wanting to break me down mentally, it didn't matter too much to me at the time. Because around this point I was getting pretty close to reaching the 1 million souls and thus be granted access to Drangleic Castle. And for the final stretch, I opted for two different strategies. The first one was I traveled back to the mines in Earthen Peak because right before the bonfire there's a tiny area with some desert sorcerers and some hollows. And the desert sorcerers has a tiny chance of drop an item called Wilted Dust Herbs, which is an item that refreshes the usages of your spells. The second method was online cooperation. But I ended up only getting summoned a few times and it wasn't really worth the wait. So I went back to farming. And after farming, popping and looting souls in what felt like forever, I finally reached the 1 million souls. So I spent all my souls on leveling up because now I'm headed towards Drangleic Castle.
You're sick! You're a sick fuck!
Hey Exile, I thought you said this was going to be a soul-crushing journey. I hear you say. Well, don't worry, we'll get there, because pretty soon
I'm gonna lose my freaking mind!
just a little bit. But that's okay. That's why I play video games in stupid ways, right?
Sick fuck!
Anyway, let's do like Philip DeFranco
And let's jump into it.
Serves you, Roy.
But first, who do you think wins this duel? Me? Or the invader who dual wields crossbows? Leave your answers in the comments below and stay tuned towards the end for the final outcome. So first things first, this guy, Chancellor Welliger, he sells repair powder in unlimited amounts, and that's going to be crucial for the rest of this run. And after running through the first part of Drangleic Castle, I greeted Nashandra.
You have fought admirably on your journey, cursed undead.
And then I faced off against the Dragon Riders. And the Dragon Riders were a pretty straightforward fight. I just made great use of Iron Flesh, so they wouldn't be able to interrupt me from healing. And shortly after dealing with the Dragon Riders, something incredible happened. You see, because I'm leveling Vitality, I have finally gone from being unable to roll to be able to fat roll during Iron Flesh. Anyway, before I delve deeper into Castle suffering, I had to alleviate myself with a little bit of fun, so around this time I chose to face off against the Ruin Sentinels. Haha, that was fun. This next part is not. That does it. I have seriously had it up till here with you and your stupid. Whew. Okay, Fat Exile, take a deep breath. Just describe how you dealt with the boss fight. There's no need to get angry over a video game. I'm just running through King's Passage to get to the Looking Glass Knight arena. I have had it up till here with you. And you know what? You have really left me no other choice this time. So I am going to eat every single one of those crows. And then I am going to invoke the power of
400 mouses and 400 houses.
By the time I'm done humiliating you, you're gonna wish I had just taken your stupid shield and shoved it so far up your ass no one will ever be able to see their own reflection. And your summons are just as useful as shit under your nails. Sweet, I got it on video. Okay, next stop is Shrine of... Oh, no. Get the images out of my head! No, not this place! Oh, make it go away! This is the reason why I wake up at night to the sound of my own screams! But in all seriousness, running through Shrine of Amana under these conditions was about as fun as taking a piss. I can't lie to you like this. There is nothing funny about this. Running through Shrine of Amana with nothing but the old sun ring was the most brutal thing throughout this run, to be honest with you. And just to really drive that point home, I also ran through Iron Keep.
Not now.
Fine, I'll save it till the end of the video. You happy?
Not now.
Yeah, me neither. And as you just saw, or maybe even know, that getting from the first bonfire to the second bonfire in Shrine of Amana, that's pretty straightforward and not too difficult. But getting from the second bonfire to the third, oh, I really want to set my face on fire so I can distract myself from these painful, horrible memories I have of this area. Why do I do this to myself? I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if I learned that I died 100 times or more in this area. I mean, this isn't healthy human behavior. Look at this! This is what you do when you hate yourself. Why the shit would anyone put themselves through this? The most impressive part about all of this is that I died less than 1,000 times. That's not too shabby, all things considered, right? And after reaching the third bonfire, I really felt like I had overcome one of the toughest challenges I have ever faced. And that's really saying something. But at the third bonfire, the only challenge ahead is a giant bug which blocked the path ahead of me, but there's also an NPC I can summon who can deal with the bug for me. Unfortunately, around this time I also got this annoying sound stuck in my head. I don't want to talk about it. This took such a long time. I mean, this boss was just as brutal as getting through the area itself, but I found a pretty consistent way, though it took a long time. I think I spent like 68 minutes or so on this boss fight alone, because the trick is that he has a 4-hit combo, and if you get hit by the first 2 hits, there's a chance the old Sun Ring will proc. And if you stick to the left side, it also reduces the chances of him hitting with the rest of the combo. And I just made use of only that and nothing else. I didn't bait out any other attacks or anything else. After approximately a week stuck in this hellhole, I have finally done it. I have officially completed the Shrine of Amana with the old Sun Ring only. So now, I think I'm gonna go celebrate by getting so wasted I forgot this ever happened. I got into a huge fight with the janitor of Iron Keep because he kept telling me that I cannot walk around this place completely wasted, and I don't want to hear any of that. I also tried showing Nazca the video of the Looking Glass Knight, but when I asked if she wanted to see the video of me beating the Looking Glass Knight, she misheard it as beating off the Looking Glass Knight, and then we got into a fight. And then I got into a fight with some religious people in the church.
Come on, hit me, you little bitch!
And then I woke up in the Undead Crypt.
Human, do not produce light. I am welcome in this place.
And if you think I was hungover when I woke up, you're sorely mistaken. Hangovers is a state of mind. Running through the Undead Crypt was such a nice breeze of fresh air compared to Shrine of Amana. I ran through the Undead Crypt with no major issues. And right down here is where I found the Bracing Knuckle Ring +2. And getting through the rest of the area is pretty easy, since the Nameless Usurper won't invade in this area, because the skeletons in Majula were kind enough to deal with her on my behalf. So now there's only Velstadt who stands in the way of me getting out of here. Velstadt was a boss that took several attempts, simply because he hits like a train. But I learned pretty quickly that Iron Flesh didn't work, and it overlaps Sacred Oath. So I found out that by running all the way back to Shrine of Amana, then activating the Brightbug glitch, and running all the way back into Velstadt's arena. And that did the trick, because this fight lasted around 32 minutes.
And he can't even give a woman a proper spanking. Weakling.
I have no healing items left. I am so fucked. And if you weren't scared away by the horrors that is the Shrine of Amana earlier, then allow me to present to you the Guardian Dragon. This is what Nightmare Fuel is made of. Under normal conditions, the Guardian Dragon is among the easiest boss fights in the entire game. This was easily one of the most difficult boss fights I had to endure throughout this entire playthrough. And I really mean endure. And this fight required an ungodly amount of patience. Not only does the Guardian Dragon fly around and sit on the walls and spew fire all over the arena, but his stomp attack is also so random and inconsistent. At least that's my experience with this fight. Sometimes I could bait out his stomp attacks like 3 or 4 times, then he would fly away. Other times he would stomp once or twice. Then a third time he might stomp 6 or 7 times. It's completely random. I came so close to give up this entire playthrough just because of the Guardian Dragon. This boss, as well as the Demon of Slong, were easily the biggest offenders in terms of difficulty for this playthrough. Both fights lasted for more than 60 minutes. I think the Guardian Dragon ended on 72 minutes or something like that. Easily the longest boss fight I have ever endured. And when the Guardian Dragon, the Demon of Song and the Covetous Demon are among the most difficult bosses in your playthrough, you start to think to yourself that there might be a slight possibility that you're trapped in the Upside Down. So my take on this? Don't ever do it. Don't ever put yourself through this. Again, this isn't healthy human behavior. And coming right up, it is one of the most painful moments throughout this entire playthrough. I'm pretty convinced I got traumatized so bad that I got an actual crack in my skull. You see, at this point in the boss fight, I had used up almost all of my healing items. And I had warmth in my inventory, so I figured, why not give it a go?
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
Okay, we're getting pretty close now. I'm gonna close my eyes now, I don't wanna see this. Prepare for disappointment.
You've no idea the
psychological
toll that
an old sun ring rock.
Tablet person.
No proc, no proc, no proc. So after you have witnessed this, I really hope you can understand why my new favorite pastime is pouting. Anyway, I can tell you one thing though, I am never, ever doing this again in my entire life. Ever. Anyway, up next it's Dragon Shrine. And I'd like to tell you that I don't find Dragon Shrine very difficult to run through. I learned that the hard way ever since my Mailbreaker only run. But that's the thing about challenge runs, right? You learn how to navigate better in the games when you put yourself under certain conditions, right? So, Dragon Shrine, pretty easy in my opinion. Okay, the Giant Lord. And here I have to disappoint you a little bit, because you might find this hard to believe, but I had some major issues getting through the Giant Lord with the old Sun Ring. And it's because there is a 5-minute countdown on the boss fight, which when the countdown reaches 0 you get sent out of the memory, and the boss fight resets. So I opted to use Pyromancy. Let's move on. Okay, so for the Throne Watcher and Defender, first thing I did was activating the Brightbug glitch at the entrance of Drangleic Castle. I also changed out all of my spells, so I only had the Great Heal Exert Miracle with. I figured I might as well have as much healing as possible with me in order to sustain my health.
Knock knock, boys. Who's there?
Because I learned pretty quickly that Iron Flesh is not very useful against the Throne Watcher and Defender. In any case, you might be surprised to hear that this was actually among the easier boss fights for this journey. What wasn't easy, however, was the boss that followed.
Now, be one.
Nashandra was brutal. If you have ever thought to yourself, I really wish there were a way for me to make the final boss of Dark Souls 2 more difficult. Well, look no further, because I have definitely found the recipe. And as you can clearly see on the screen right now, I did not go to Broom Tower to pick up the mask that makes you immune to the curse. So here it is, in its raw, unedited footage, I present to you Nashandra taken down with nothing but the old Sun Ring. I think I spent like 60 attempts or so on beating Nashandra, and I found out the way that worked best for me was to simply prioritize my health above anything else. Even if it's a small hit, always keep your health at full. The second priority is something I learned back also from my Mailbreaker run. Ignore the boss's health bar. I just paid attention to what she did and my own health bar, and then I made sure to keep my health bar full at all time, or as much as possible. And finally, it happened. It finally happened! Yes! Yes, I fucking did it! I am the voice of inspiration for my generation! I am a fucking god! I can't believe I did it! I fucking did it! Fuck yes! Let's fucking go!
You who link the fire. You who bear the curse. Once the fire is linked, souls will flourish anew, and all of this will play out again. It is your choice to embrace or renounce this. Great Sovereign, take your throne. What lies ahead, only you can see.
And that concludes the story of how I beat Dark Souls 2 with the old Sun Ring.
You have died many times.
And I also won the duel. And also, here is the footage of me running through Iron Keep, which I wasn't allowed to show you previously. But I gotta ask you, what do you think this is? Is this an impressive challenge run? Is it a waste of time? Is there an argument to be made that this might be the ultimate pacifist run? Or maybe you're thinking, psychopath! I'd really like to hear what you think about this, because I'm pretty certain that there is a fine line between challenge runs and plain stupid gameplay, and I'd like to hear where you draw the line. So please leave it in the comments below and let's discuss it. As for me personally, I'm really split about this, because on one hand, I'm really impressed that this was even possible to pull off at all. I had no idea that I would be able to beat the entire game just with the old Sun Ring. And on the other hand, I'm also impressed, but that's because this has potential to be the dumbest way I've ever played a Soulsborne game. Arguably the dumbest way anyone has ever played a Soulsborne game, period. But I think this goes to show that Dark Souls 2 just have so much challenge run potential, at least compared to other Soulsborne titles. It is so impressive and crazy. I mean, I love the game just for that. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for sticking with me to the end. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, as it's free, and 1 like equals I will eat 1 crow. And if you haven't already, you should consider subscribing to my channel, because only the enlightened ones gets to see my videos. So until next time, I'm a fatigued and traumatized exile, and I have played Dark Souls 2 in a very stupid way. Bye!